As Eyeless Jack is a creepypasta about a man who is sacrificed, but the sacrifice goes wrong and he becomes a monster who devours livers. In this alternate timeline, however, the sacrifice will be completed correctly, and because of that, he would go to hell. As he would spawn in hell, he would no longer have a human body. His body was completely dark, his eyes were no more, as his eyes were gouged out, as though nothing but two black slanked slots. As he began to walk around, as Jack was now hungry, he was no longer human. He wasn't a demon either. He was a new creature created from the sacrifice. He was something else, a being of pure supernatural powers. A being that didn't care about money or power. It only cared about feeding. As Eyeless Jack would continue to walk forward, as he observed all the buildings and observed everything around him, as he would see these people, the sinners, they came in many shapes and sizes. When you perish, you would be reincarnated into a new body. Many bodies fit the way you perished. Other bodies fit your favorite animal, or just fit what you were most like. For example, if you were a liar and a cheater, maybe you'd be turned into a snake, or something like that. As Eyeless Jack would simply wait in the shadows as his hunger began to grow. As all he could think about was eating, all he could think about was devouring. As everyone went to sleep, he would sneak up on someone. As they slept in their bed, minding their own business, Eyeless Jack would slowly begin to devour their livers, making them perish, as then he left. This fed him for quite a while, but it wasn't enough. Months would pass as Eyeless Jack would start to become famous, this weird creepypasta, this weird story about some sort of strange entity, but no one believed it was true. However, one day, Eyeless Jack would try it on the wrong person. As Eyeless Jack went into the Hazbin Hotel, not even knowing what it was, he didn't learn much about this place or much about hell at all. He just consumed. He was like a mindless animal, a creature of the night. As he sat there, he watched Charlie sleep. Charlie led the hotel, and Charlie was in charge of getting people to be redeemed. As Eyeless Jack was about to take her liver, she would wake up and start to use her powers to push him back. As Eyeless Jack simply stared at her and let out a loud screech as he began to run away. As Charlie would go after him, he continued to run until Alistair would grab him with his magic. As then he would say, "Interesting." Charlie would say, "What is it?" "He's lost his mind. He's become mindless." I've never seen that happen." "Wait, I see what happened." Charlie would say, "What?" "Usually they don't last this long." "He's special." Charlie would say, "What do you mean?" "People get sacrificed to hell all the time, and they don't come back as sinners. They come back as mindless creatures. He's one of them. Usually they've already perished, but he's found a way to survive." Charlie would say, "Can we give him a brain?" "Maybe, but it requires a ritual." Eyeless Jack would then be tied up in the basement until they can give him a mind, as he just sat there for days on end, having no brain or no will of his own, until one day Charlie came down. As Charlie would look at Eyeless Jack, he would try to move but can't. The chains on him were magical that stopped him from being able to do any of his techniques or abilities. As they simply stared at Charlie, full of hunger, Charlie would then put down some candles and light them, as he drew a circle and began to do the ritual. It took hours and hours, but eventually he would get his brain back. As Jack would look around confused, asking what happened, Charlie would tell him everything. As then he would get down and start to cry, realizing what he became, realizing the monster he was, forced into a sacrifice. He didn't do anything wrong. He was turned into this. It was no fair, he cried. And Charlie said, "Hey, you make a really compelling case. After all, you're just a sacrifice. You didn't do anything. I think we can get you into heaven." Jack would look up and say, "You really think so? But my hunger. I still need to. We'll deal with that." Charlie would then let Eyeless Jack go, but he was still extremely hungry. But they would give him livers of animals so he can eat. This way he didn't have to hurt others. As Eyeless Jack would stay there, he was still a sacrifice, and Lucifer owned his soul, so they had to fix that. Charlie would go to Lucifer's house with Jack. As she knocked on the door, he would answer. Lucifer would then walk out and say, "Hey, how's the hotel doing? I could still send you a loan if you need Sacrifice, huh? Charlie would say, yeah. Can you release his soul? Lucifer would say, those sacrifices give me a lot of power. I don't know if I should do that. Charlie would say, please? I'm just messing with you. I have so many at this point, I don't know what to do with them. Besides, this hotel is more important to me. More important to you. Lucifer would smile at Charlie, as then he would snap his fingers, relieving No Eyes Jack's soul, as then he would say, alright, don't bother me anymore, as then he would shut the door. Charlie would say, usually he is way more talkative to me. I wonder what he's doing. As then we cut to Lucifer, as he was collecting more ducks and didn't want to be disturbed. As then, Charlie and No Eyes Jack would go back to the hotel. No Eyes Jack would still have to eat livers and would still have his powers, but at least now he can think, and now he can train. And now he can actually be treated like, a person. He missed Earth. He missed being a human. He missed, just staying there. But this was his home now. And the hotel wasn't that bad. They offered him food, water, bed, and basically anything he could ever need. There was even a bar there, so it's not like he can complain that much. However, one day, Charlie would walk to him and say, hey, we need you for a meeting. He would say, what? We're talking to heaven about sending you up there. Since you are a sacrifice that no longer has their soul owned, maybe they'll let you in. After all, you didn't do anything bad. Eyeless Jack would nod, as Vaggie and Charlie would then go to heaven and have a meeting about Eyeless Jack, as this would cause controversy. Would argue that his soul was sacrificed, therefore he doesn't belong in heaven. And even though he had a sad backstory, if we let him in, we'll have to let in others. And this will cause heaven to be overcrowded. We can't do this. Heaven is already having problems as its own. While others would argue that they should do it. Emily would argue that it's the right thing to do, that this is just a poor soul, and as angels they should let him in. As heaven bickered, eventually they came to a compromise. They'll hunt Eyeless Jack for one day. If he survives, he goes into heaven. If not, that takes care of that. Eyeless Jack was terrified of this, as he was only given a month to prepare. As then he was brought back to the hotel, he would begin to shake as he fell to his knees. He couldn't believe this. He couldn't believe he was going to have to fight, as then Alistair would walk up to him and say, I could train you. Then Alistair would look at him and say, so, that is quite impressive. Interesting. Eyeless Jack would say, what are you talking about? I can sense your power. Come on now. As Alistair would train Eyeless Jack how to tap into his power, how to use his teleportation and hiding abilities, the angels would still be able to find him. However, this would be able for him to create some more distance. They even gave him an angelic dagger, a way for him to fight back. As Eyeless Jack grew in power, he also grew in strategy. But eventually, though, the sirens would arrive and the exorcists would fly down, all coming for Eyeless Jack. Eyeless Jack would hide in the dumpster, using his ability to cloak. But an hour later, Adam would find him. As he would tear apart the dumpster, he would run, as more exorcists surrounded him. Eyeless Jack would then start to teleport to building to building to building, leading them away, until he was absolutely surrounded. As Adam would say, there's no way for you to go. As Eyeless Jack would say, yes there is. Up. As suddenly, he would pull off an amazing maneuver. As Eyeless Jack would teleport on all of their heads, going up and up and down, and would use his abilities to fight them, and even take some of their livers. As Eyeless Jack was no fool to combat, as this month of hardcore training really pushed him all forward. And Adam and the rest of the extras weren't used to fighting someone with these type of fighting styles. However, eventually though, he would find a way, as Adam would stab into his back, as the rest of the extras would all start to hit him. It seemed like it was over. It seemed like Eyeless Jack was going to perish, but just then, the time ran out. As he laid there, barely able to move, Adam said, you did it, welcome to heaven. He was healed up and brought into heaven, as Eyeless Jack had a happy ending. Finally able to enjoy paradise. Finally able to be normal. That's going to leave things off with the like, comment, subscribe, share with all your friends. Hope you're having an amazing day. My day's going all right. Tomorrow, I got to wake up early. So I posted it about 2 hours earlier than what I normally do. Not post make, but it's still kind of late. So kind of failed what I was supposed to do. But I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, because I'll just be tired. No big deal, Tired day, tired Sunday. Get to go out and eat. with family, which is nice. What do you do? What do you guys do for the weekend normally? And by weekend, I know some people have to work on Saturday and Sunday. By weekend, I mean that your days off. What do you normally do? Do you like go out? Do you like just chill? I know a lot of people probably have families they have to take care of and stuff like that, you know? Darn losers. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Everyone at work knows about my channel. And they're probably watching this video right now. It's like so funny. They're like, what if this? What if that? And let's just say the dumbest things. Like, if I did one of their things, I would use their name and no one would watch it because they wouldn't know who the hell they were. They would be like, who is this person? And why is he on this channel? Yeah. Which is pretty funny, you know. You know how us YouTubers are. We're uncool. We're losers. We live in the shadows until our channels pop off and we become cool. Then our channels die and we're losers again, you know? It's just an infinite cycle. And I can't wait to be a part of that cycle. I'm just kidding. I love you all. I hope my channel doesn't die. It probably won't. Maybe it will. I don't know. I don't know what the future says. All I know is I'm glad to be here and I'm glad you're watching it. Peace out. Hope you have an amazing day. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends.